The one type of fat that comes up in the health world quite a bit, and I've never heard you mention, is brown fat. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, love it. Brown fat is the term brown fat sometimes is called BAT, brown adipose tissue. And so it's really not brown. But when you look underneath a microscope, it has the appearance of being darker. So it kind of has a browning kind of appearance to it. It's not completely black. And the specific feature of this type of fat, why it's darker and it has this opacity, is it has increased mitochondria relative in the cells relative to other adipose tissue, fat tissue. And so with the increased adiposity or mitochondria in those adipocytes, those cells are healthier. Those are the powerhouses for increasing and allowing us to have energy through ATP. They produce energy. And it's a remarkable feature that did not start in humans. Mitochondria are actually a feature from bacteria that whose origin preceded Homo sapiens. So literally, these microbes get into us and they start to incorporate genetic material. We are swapping genetic and DNA material with the microbes that live inside of us and on us. So what that should mean to you, if you already aren't interested in the microbiome, is they are influencing our genetic makeup. And so you want the best microbes in you, and you don't want to have bad ones. And the good ones help us to live better and acquire better features that ultimately lead to beneficial things like brown fat. And brown fat is beneficial because it is associated with improved metabolism. So individuals that are more metabolically healthy, have higher levels of brown adipose tissue or brown fat, and people with more brown fat have better, healthier levels of enjoy healthier metabolism as well. And so a few things you could do to increase your brown fat, first and foremostly, is we see brown fat increase through hormetic exposure to really cold, extremely cold environments. So things like a cold plunge, doing a polar bear plunge into a lake in the wintertime. We do this up here in Minnesota. And or if I don't want to go to, I personally don't like the lakes in Minnesota because they're filled with glyphosate from all the nitwits around the lake that are dumping weed killer and Roundup into the yard, and it goes into all the lakes and nobody's talking about it. Good God. And then they go and swim in those lakes. So I personally do cold showers and allow that cold water get on me, and to the point that I start shivering, and that's some good stuff. So it creates a specialized protein molecule called a cold shock proteins. And the opposite, well, they're related actually, are heat shock proteins when you go into like a sauna, a dry finish sauna. And so the collected term for these specialized protein molecules are called chaperone protein molecules. So chaperones show up when there's activity to make sure nothing bad happens. And you know what I'm talking about. Everybody knows what chaperones are. Well, these chaperone proteins show up where there's activity in the form of muscle protein synthesis. So as protein tissues are being made, it's the chaperone proteins that keep everything working good, and there's lower levels of disease. So cold shock proteins and heat shock proteins, these chaperone proteins, help us to become healthier with lower levels of disease. And that's why we see the eradication of disease in individuals that are involved in hormetic experiences. So brown fat comes from cold exposure. It can also come from exposure to certain spices. So in spicy foods. So people that eat maybe spicy foods, they can increase their level of brown fat. It's not as much as what you get from cold shock proteins, but it is still something that's present. And also fasting will help improve your brown fat, and you can produce this heat. So one cool anecdotal experience in myself where I saw this is, sometimes our house gets really cold in Minnesota because outdoors I've seen it minus 29 without a wind chill. That's pretty cold. And so our house can get pretty cold. And I remember working out with no shirt on, and I'm doing some parallettes, where these parallel bars, and I'm doing this hold where I'm using a lot of energy and a lot of strength to hold myself up. And I felt heat pour out of my body from the ATP burning up and generating heat. And I felt wind. And that wind was a thermal that left my body, and it blew past my face because it was so cold. It raised very quickly. It was wind coming out of my body. And I'm like, dang, I've never felt that in my life. So it provided me some reassurance that Sean was building some brown fat, and my ability to heat myself up was significantly different than at any point in my life. So brown fat is good stuff. I definitely promote it in my clients.
You've talked about the cold showers and saunas now a couple of times. I want to get into some of the nuance here. For somebody that wants to adopt, we'll start with cold showers. You mentioned you do it until you shiver. How long does that take? And are you doing that daily, or how often do you do it?
Yeah. So initially, when I started doing it, it would happen pretty fast. Now it takes longer. It's interesting. My ability to go into these cold showers is significant. I never look forward to it. It's not like, you start to like it. No, I don't think I'll ever like it, but I tolerate it. And so now at about anywhere from 45 to 70 seconds, when I go into that cold shower, this strange glow. It's almost like my internal thermostat is reset, and then my body starts creating this heat. I have this warm glow inside my body, even though this cold as Hades water is coming out of this shower tap. I feel this warmth and allows me to tolerate it. So I'll sit in there to about 6 to 8 minutes, and I characterize it's not like suffering or like super cold. I get bored as Hades just standing under this cold water. It's like I think I could look at paint dry and I wouldn't be as bored. It's this combination of the cold water and not doing anything and this warm glow inside. So everybody's going to be a little bit different, but what you want to try to do is mix it up. So I tell people it's hormesis. So it's a hormetic response. Eventually you get kind of used to this, and that's not good. And so it's like if you always do the same routine and workout, you get muscle memory and you stop getting the gains that you formerly had. So same thing with these cold showers. You want to mix it up. Take some time off, and that can change. So maybe go, do this for like a month. You're doing it, 4 to 5 times a week, and then go for a month where you're not doing it at all, and then get back into doing it again, or maybe take off a week. So you want to kind of have some what I call pulsation, some pulse to this, and you're not always doing the exact same thing. So you want to mix it up. I'm fond of saying, my clients hear it all the time, nature favors variety. Nature does not like a steady state, the same thing all the time. And so you want to mix it up. And so start out small and gradually increase your capacity for doing exposures to cold water, cold showers, cold plunges, and then mix it up and change it, increase it, take off some time, get back, make it even colder, and you get back and just keep pursuing variety.
If you enjoyed that clip, press here for the full episode. I'll see you over there.
Visceral fat causes inflammation throughout your body, leading to disease. It starts when you're young. It's the first expression of disease in the human body, and it continues throughout a lifetime. I tell people